Morning, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another episode of Jays Latest. I'm your host, Craig Borden, and we're going to talk all things Blue Jays baseball today, and like we do every day. So, on that note, make sure you please hit those like, share, subscribe buttons so that we have more friends to hang out with here on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasting pleasures. But let's dive into the first part of it, and I'm sorry that I didn't hit my thing in right order. Today we're talking about reinforcements right off the bat. So the Blue Jays obviously trying to figure out something in the midst of everything here to be that spark, catalyst, whatever it could be to be the Toronto Blue Jays actually winning games instead of the whatever we watched last night, which we will get to in just a moment. So the catch would be what is going to be the catalyst for this team because there has just been so much up and down. What do you do to be able to balance that out? And the easy thing to do here would be get some freaking offense. So, in the midst of getting some offense, where does it come from? Does it come from a spark plug out of the minors? Does it come from a trade? Whatever it might be. But right now, in the short term, there's at least three gentlemen that are possibly going to be joining this ball club in the very, very near future here to be able to balance the load. First things first, let's just talk about the one that's actually healthy that we signed recently, Spencer Turnbull. He's got a 32 some odd day clause in his contract that is going to kick in very, very shortly. He's obviously been pitching for the most part, trying to get stretched out to be able to start. He could, he's be joining the Buffalo Bisons for his next start here in the very near term because he is getting close to that 32-day mark where he's basically got to be signed to the major league roster, which on this point I think works great. He had a great season last year with Philadelphia. We need an extra pitcher in our rotation, bullpen, no matter how you slice it up. We need somebody like Turnbull that can be that lawn guy, switch back and forth between the rotation, especially with other people still hurt in that rotation. But there's got to be something that keeps us away from having a bullpen day every fifth day or the what has become the Ethan Lawler, Jose Urania spot for the Toronto Blue Jays rotation. Those guys would still play very well being either with the Buffalo Bisons or out of our bullpen, because like I said, we had been coughing a few up here and there that make it easy for the Blue Jays to be able to hold on to one of those guys to eat innings, varying the Scott Downs, Brian Talent ballpark for what you saw earlier in their careers. We haven't had that guy in our bullpen in a long time that can just chew and chew and chew innings. We'll talk about one thing last night that actually did pretty well at that, Yariel Rodriguez, who has been on fire, but you have a strange feeling he's going to get started and used in leverage a lot more because he has been doing so well. So to that point, do not expect Spencer Turnbull to be very, very soon in this Toronto Blue Jays rotation or bullpen. My guess is short term rotation because the next part, that's the person that's getting healthy, it sounds like, and actually starting to head toward a rehab assignment. That is, Max Scherzer appears to be finally getting better, and the thumb is starting to actually hold up to the treatments and all these kind of good stuff. So there is a chance that he also could be joining this rotation, which is already a very strong pitching rotation, especially when you get Bowden Francis doing what he did last night. But like I said, we'll get that in a moment. The other person that is pitching well in Buffalo is Eric Swanson, another bullpen arm, obviously, that we could desperately use with the Jimmy Garcia injury and whatnot. So good news on that avenue. No trade crazy yet. A lot of weird things floating around, including who's dangling who and what that. We're going to start talking about that more every day here on the Jays Latest. So we'll get to that. I haven't seen any names that really could be traded or fit for the Blue Jays at this point, but we're going to get to that point and get to that. So let's talk the next piece of everything because the Blue Jays did play a game yesterday, and was it heartbreaking because the Blue Jays were in this game until the eighth inning. And in the eighth inning, errors went aplenty with Chad Green on the mound. I think he got saddled with a loss, but he did allow a run before the tack on run that was caused by a couple of errors, including Alejandro Kirk just chucking a ball over everybody and going into the outfield, caused a run scored, obviously, and the Texas Rangers finally get a win for the first time in a long time. It seems like with the 2-0 win yesterday. So Why was this such a problem? This game had 10 runners in scoring position for the Toronto Blue Jays, and they could not find a way to get that. They had every advantage they could to win this game, and our errors and everything in the last innings aside, there was plenty of opportunity, and they just could not find that clutch hit. 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position, only 4 hits to begin with. But like I said, when you had that many base runners because of walks and everything, they were all at the right times. That was the thing that was so maddening about it. They were actually plenty of opportunities, regardless of the fact that you only had 4 hits. And you even had the fact that Nathan Eovaldi had to leave this game early because he's having I think it was a lat strain or something like that. Is what he left from. But their best pitcher actually left the game, and you were, oh, okay, great. We're in their bullpen in the 3rd inning. That can't be too bad, right? Apparently it is. Because Jacob Latz cruised through 3 innings, and the rest of their bullpen just continued to mash us. Can't make this stuff up, party people. So, on that note, like I said, I do want to talk about good things, not just the rough and horrible and oh my god. And that is that Bowden Francis definitely found something. That was a great outing and probably his best of the season. And it can't be just because he was facing the Texas Rangers. The fact that he was peppering the zone, all these proper things, to his own quote, he kept attacking and stayed on it last night. So that was his mantra. Keep telling myself, keep attacking, stay on it, is what Francis is quoted after the game. And he definitely did that last night. It was very great to see. He is currently, I think, leading Major League Baseball in home runs allowed and some other things. So it was really good to see him put up a 0 in 5 innings. The strikeouts were there as well. So 5 innings of work, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. Very good for Bowden Francis to get back on page, and I look very forward to his next start. He only threw 75 pitches. I was a little surprised that he didn't come back out for the 6th, but Yariel Rodriguez got 2 innings of work in, only allowed 1 base runner with 1 hit. And Rod was on fire. He dropped his season ERA down to 2.96 out of the Blue Jay bullpen. So he's starting to really figure this thing out in the bullpen and finding how to get major league hitters. And the comparison between Bowden Francis's average 93, 94, and Yariel coming out and throwing 95, 96, obviously fooled plenty of hitters last night. Unfortunately, the one that didn't get the fool many people, Chad Green, like I said, his 1 inning of work allowed 2 hits, which led to 1 earned run. Both of them scored during his time. 1 walk and 1 strikeout. So a little rough for Chad Green on the mound, who has also been having a good season, but sometimes that's just the way the ball rolls. And it definitely did roll around a little bit too much in the late innings yesterday. So the Blue Jays, as one of the better defensive teams in baseball, definitely kicked it around at the end of the game yesterday. So what's next, Blue Jays fans? Bullpen day. So that means we're going to get Eric Lawler and a bunch of people coming out. So Jose Urena will probably be in the mix today too. And they will be facing Tyler Mahle, who has been having a pretty good season so far. Mahle has a 5-2 record. He's been just like a lot of the Rangers pitching actually has been doing really well. But they can't get over the hurdle on the offense, just like the Blue Jays can't. In his last 3 starts, he's only allowed 5 earned runs in 13 innings. So, or not 13 innings, 17 innings. Sorry. So he's been doing all right. Got to win in 2 of those starts, but he has given up home runs to Vlad Jr. in the past, and Anthony Santander's had some pretty good sight on him. Outside of that, there's not many people that have faced Tyler Mahle with him being in the National League for the most part in the last few years. So, unfortunately, Blue Jays don't do good against guys they haven't faced before. So, we'll see what happens, but that's the Blue Jays part tonight. Make sure you join us on the Jay Bird Watching podcast tonight. We are going to have Shane Told of the rock band Silverstein tonight, and we are going to talk all things his screaming for Blue Jays and obviously on stage with the rest of his band. Apparently, he's a diehard Blue Jays fan, and we're looking very much forward to speaking with him, with Liz and I tonight, and Jason tonight. So make sure you join us there. at Birdwatching GC everywhere, including our brand new website, jbirdwatching.com. And it's spelled J, like as in the Blue Jays, not just the letter J. So, I'll have a great night. Go Blue Jays, and we will talk to you tomorrow.